How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. I recently went to go watch it. I know I might be a bit tardy to getting to this review. It has been out for like 2 to 3 weeks. However, I do want to talk about this movie and how I thought it did better than the first one, even though the ratings don't really support that. Yes, it's a lot more fan servicey than the first one, which the first one did a lot, but this one did, instead of like getting like as many cameos as the first one did, or maybe I just didn't realize them as much. It did a lot more in terms of the story with like what people have put out in the past. That's one of the biggest issues with making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and I think that I talked about that on my first video when I covered the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie. How you can't go right with anything making a movie like this. Either you get it right with the audience, which it seems like this movie is doing that, and you give a bad product, or you give a great product, or a subpar product, but not something that the fans will attach to because it doesn't hold on to what the games actually did. This movie did a bit better at having those like core mechanics of the games. There is a certain part where Josh Hutcherson's character needs to put on he needs to put on the mask. He's actually doing stuff as a security guard, but there's like it's so brief and so quick that it honestly just feels like it did it just to get that part done and then get on with the next one. The first movie didn't do that. It had only the scenes of him like sleeping there, and like, yeah, it had the original location, but it didn't do anything with the location that actually resembled any of the games. Where this one did, and I can appreciate that a lot more. I don't understand how the animatronics are able to go into water, especially Balloon Boy being under the river. I just thought about that, and that's like something that I didn't think about while watching the movie, but I don't get why he was able to go into the river and out perfectly fine. What other things? The characters, again, feel super one-dimensional. They don't feel like... It actually just feels like a movie that's made for the fans to point and say, that they said the thing, they did the thing. Like, it feels a lot more like that type of a movie where they're just trying to get the fans' attention and not really retain not really reward them with a good story or good characters. At the end of the day, I can expect this to be a box office success, not because it's a great movie, but because it does what it needs to do so. And what it needs to do so is just make sure it caters towards the fans, because even if the movie's trash, the fans are still gonna want to watch it. And the reason why is because Five Nights at Freddy's is a beloved property, and it does a lot of the things that a lot of people wanted to see. Five Nights at Freddy's it's an even more complicated IP just because of how deep it is. It is a franchise that has literal days on YouTube of like just game theory, just film theory, yeah, just game theory, just explaining what the fuck is going on is hours, if not days, to watch the entire saga. You need an actual popcorn bucket to watch everything that happens, and that's something that's very difficult to do. And I think that the movie does it somewhat well. The reason why is we have William Afton, and then gonna get into spoilers, and then we have Michael Afton also show up in the movie. Whenever he shows up, people are already saying like, oh, he's like a weird security guard, looks a bit creepy. And then when he shows up at the end again, he says that he's Michael Afton, and immediately the audience started to go crazy. Why? Because everyone has been expecting for this character to pop up. At the end of the day, it's one of those things where people just really wanted to see a bit more about this lore, and Scott Cawthon kind of like give people that satisfaction of being able to see what type of characters they wanted to see. They wanted to see Michael Afton. They wanted to see Springtrap a bit more. They wanted to see a few more things with this lore. What happened to the marionette? What happened to this? What happened to that? And although it's not a flawless explanation, because in Five Nights at Freddy's, things rarely ever are, It took us like forever to figure out what the bite of 87 actually was, and then what the bite of 83 was, and then how everything, like, was the second game actually the first location, or was it a different location? Where did all these things fall under? It was super difficult to do, and I think that the movie does an okay enough job at making those separations, which I think would be an extremely difficult thing to do. Luckily for them, Scott Cawthon was there to be able to help figure things out. But yeah, I just think it was something that this movie was gonna be unavoidably bad. Like, there was no getting beyond that. The movie was just never gonna be able to stand on its own two legs and say it's a good movie. But it would get the audience's attention by being able to do some fan service things. Especially, there's one scene that I remember very vividly because everyone let out a collective gasp when they showed Shadow Bonnie. It is something that in all of the movies, or all the games, they haven't even alluded to it properly. They've only like kind of said, yeah, like there's something there, and then people like started speculating, yeah, ultimate custom night and stuff like that. People started like really have these shadow figures, and then Shadow Bonnie shows up in the movie, and it kind of just confirms everything that everyone expected. So it does do that fan service thing well, and that's why I don't think that the movie's gonna flop, and that's why I think that they're gonna make another movie, and they might even make a fourth, they might even make a fifth. Remember, there are like 10 different like plot points that you could do. I don't want to say games because I know that there are only like 7 games, but there are like 10 different plot points you can do. There's Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which hasn't been explored, which I would love to see those animatronics just because of how horrifying they are. The number 3 is probably going to be the next one that we do, the return of William Afton, burning down that pizzeria, everything that's going to happen because of game number 3. Number 5, sister location. They alluded to Circus Baby in this movie, which is something I didn't have on my bucket list for the movie, which is actually pretty crazy. We now have with the VR games and then the security breach game, we have the Vanny, the bunny, the secret of the mimic. The second game to security breach, which was like everything was like broken down. So there's still a lot of ways to go. And I do not doubt that they are going to try to make these. Why do I not doubt that they're going to try to make this? Because this is a business. And at the end of the day, the people in suits, they don't care about this movie. They don't care if it is a good movie, if it's a bad movie, if it wins an Oscar, if it doesn't. They don't care. What they care about is it profitable? Is it something that we're going to be able to continuously push out and continuously make money? And for the first one, that was a resounding yes. And for this one, I think it's going to continue to be a yes. Even though the critic scores are at a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.8 on IMDb, they're still gonna greenlight this shit just because it works. I think that it's for the movie industry, it's not a very good thing because you're just promoting basically just slop to be made, but for it to be fan servicey enough for people to go watch it, when I think that we should really focus on story, characters, and what really makes these movies good, not what makes them, like, this movie, yes, it's watchable, and it has certain scenes where I can let out a laugh, but it's just not an overall good movie and not one that I recommend. I've talked to people about it. I didn't recommend the movie. I said if you like the IP, you're gonna find a lot of like joy in watching the movie, but it's not a good movie. Megan Fox voices Toy Chica. I just wanted to give that last note. Megan Fox voices Toy Chica. That is insane. The fact that Megan Fox agreed to do this, I don't know if she's a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but welcome on board, I guess. I had no idea that she was actually gonna do that. I saw it like right before, like on the cast and stuff like that. It was insane. Then Matt Pat was Toy Bonnie. Their voices are all like modified by the like animatronic suit and stuff like that. So you don't even actually hear their actual voice. I just thought that it was very weird that Megan Fox would agree to do this. The fact that Matt Pat did it, I think, is like also very interesting. First, he had the role as Ned, the dude in the diner in the first movie, and now he's doing this. I'd like to see what he does for the third movie. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys have enjoyed this video, definitely comment down below what you guys thought about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Definitely hit the like button. That helps get this video out to more people so that they can also clown on the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie with me. And definitely subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.